if Jeff comes, let him. Opening the meeting, first order of business at, what was it?
7:36.
7:30, 7:40 almost. Anyway, and the first order of business is KFP Family Partnership, 175 and 185 Amity Road and 1666 Litchfield Turnpike. There's an application for two lot subdivision and waiver of provision of open space.
I'm Steve Miller. I'm here on behalf of KFP Family Limited Partnership, the owners of the properties at 175, 185, and 1666 Litchfield Turnpike. We're here to simply split an existing conforming lot into two conforming lots. The uses on the properties will stay the same. There will be no construction at this time. There'll be no obvious changes. The fences stay in the same place. The folks that are on the properties today, Crest Auto Group, and Mr. Fitzpatrick is here from Crest tonight, and New England Brewing, plan to stay on the site, as well as the Montessori School and the credit union are staying at 1666 Litchfield. We hope that the Yarn Barn does too. We haven't had that conversation yet. Like I said, there's going to be no changes to the property. Simply forming a second lot. And I think I'm going to let Rob Pryor, our engineer and surveyor, give you a little rundown on how it's going to happen.
You signed in?
Yes. So for the record, Robert Pryor, professional engineer and land surveyor, here tonight representing the applicant. As Steve has already gone through, this is simply to split an existing developed property into two lots, both which will remain conforming with regard to all the bulk regulations, meaning building size, lot size, setback, coverage, and required parking. So presently the property fronts both on the on Amity Road and Litchfield Turnpike, so it's essentially a through lot. It doesn't function that way currently. Between basically the Crest Auto dealership and the existing strip retail center on Litchfield Turnpike, there's a fence that runs between the uses. So currently there's no either vehicular traffic that goes back and forth between basically the two developed portions of the site, and we are proposing the property line, the subdivision line, to be coincident with that existing fence line. So I guess what we would say is essentially physically it's really kind of subdivided as it stands now. We're just trying to formalize that into making it actually two lots. Again, at this time there's no additional development contemplated for either of the two sites. No additional impervious coverage, no changes to driveway cuts or anything else that's going to function exactly the way it functions today, with the exception that there'll be two separate lots. So with that, if you have questions, I'm happy to try to answer them for you.
You're saying there's no plans for development of the second lot? I'm not talking about the lot with the auto dealership, but the second lot, exactly.
This lot right now, there's no additional construction contemplated. I think the family is looking to potentially do some improvements on that site, but nothing that we're contemplating here today.
If I could just add that.
Sure.
We're hoping to fill up the center. There's 2 vacancies right now and 3 tenants that are in place that like it there. We're waiting for the state to finish up on their construction, which is right on our lawn. They're adding sidewalk and widening the road a bit right there, and actually they took a little bit of the land from 1666 to do that. And they've told us, and we've seen plans, that they're gonna reseed, and actually it should look better once they're done. And once they're done, we have some funds put aside to do some additional landscaping right in the driveway area, where the state also took some land earlier, a little closer to Starbucks, but in that same driveway area. And we're just waiting for them to finish up on that. Mostly replacing the type of landscaping that was there before.
So what's the purpose of splitting them apart? What is the benefit of doing that?
The ownership felt that the property was split, you know, and eventually we're in the process of working with Crest and Mr. Fitzpatrick on a new arrangement going forward. His current arrangement ends this winter, a long-term lease that's been in place, and we just thought it would be best if we could actually separate that and make that a separate lot.
Sure.
Fitzpatrick doesn't own the lot.
KFP Family
Yeah, but
Partnership owns this one big lot. It's an L-shaped lot right now with frontage on Amity, 175 and 185 Amity. And then, as Rob said, it goes through to 1666 Litchfield. It's actually one,
Right, Crest leases that property.
right. Sorry, I could have answered it quicker. Sorry.
Steve, on the map where the fence is right now, there's an area, I don't know how wide it is in actuality, but it's about an inch high over there.
The green area?
No, the white area next to that, where the fence ends on the red property line.
Yes.
Is that going to remain open and unobstructed?
This,
Are you
we're talking about right in
Yeah,
this
right
area
there.
here?
Yeah.
Yeah, the intention is that that'll stay open. This property is also owned by the same, by the KFP.
Who's the family?
KFP Limited Partnership. It's the Parati family.
Okay.
Has owned that property
So
for years.
they own the property below the red line.
They
as
own
well?
Correct.
they own the Katz's Deli property
Okay.
as well. That was,
So there's that little, where the green fence ends before the property line, that's going to stay open?
It is.
Okay.
It is.
any other questions?
So we're hoping that you'll consider making a decision. I know it's discretionary, but we would like to move it along if it's at all possible for the sake of the tenants. And so we could all make plans to move forward at the end of the lease, which is, like I said, coming up soon. Appreciate your time. Thank you very much.
thank you.
Thank you.
Rob, maybe someone should just address the waiver request for the provision of open space for the record.
So the regulations require for any subdivision that we set aside open space. And I believe it's 10% of the, it's 10% of the property area. In this case, we felt it'd be prudent to ask for a waiver. For one reason is that the property's all fully developed already. So, and we're not asking for any more development at this time. And the second part is that where we could possibly give you open space would be of no value. It wouldn't connect to other open space. It wouldn't serve the purpose as open space because it just would be a sort of a small island, sort of surrounded by all developed properties. So that's our justification for asking for the waiver.
Where would the open space be?
And probably, I don't know, it'd have to be in the it'd have to be in the middle, we'd have to, and then we'd probably, we'd have to, you know, I don't really know what it would serve, truthfully. You know, open space requirement is not to, I don't think it's to grapple back already developed properties, it's to preserve undeveloped property from being totally developed. And so that's not the case you have here.
So could that parcel of land be developed then? The land in between, where the, in between the green fence and the Crest building?
There probably could be additional impervious coverage proposed there. There wouldn't be really any reason to do it right now, unless because the parcel has the requisite number of parking spaces. So there's no reason anybody would pave it just to pave it.
But it could be developed.
It could be.
If they develop it, Chris, do they have to come back for that? Or once we divide it, they can just do that?
If they come back to do anything, it would be a site plan review by you typically, which is what occurred when Crest had to come to you twice for 2 different developments
Yeah,
regarding their
I
thing.
remember.
And also the brewery came back to you, so site development is typically what you would see
Sure.
at that point.
Any other questions?
No.
Okay.
Thank you.
The next order of business is the review of the regulations that were proposed, circulated.
Your hearing's continued until
So,
Monday
but-
the 15th.
Oh, so we're not having
So
anything.
you're not having
here.
any discussion
Fine.
this evening.
This is on here.
It's just there as a placeholder
Oh,
for you,
okay. In which case, there's no other business.
just to act on this.
Huh? Except now we go into work session. Okay. Thought, any discussion on the proposal to subdivide and request for waiver of open space?
Seems like a pretty straightforward request, and it just embodies what actually exists there now.
That's how I see it as well.
Me too. I agree.
Somebody want to make a motion on this?
I move that the subdivision application be approved and the open space requirement be waived.
Second.
Discussion on the motion? Chris, if we wanted to, could we approve the waiver on a condition on further development? Concerning further
The
development?
waiver is only under the subdivision approval.
Yeah.
You don't have the ability to have a requirement for open space, I don't believe. I mean,
Okay.
I'm not an attorney and I don't play one,
Okay.
but typically it's only applicable to the subdivision application and not to
Okay.
site plan review.
Any discussion on the motion?
Who's sitting?
Huh?
Who's
Oh, who's
sitting?
sitting?
Yanni and Jeff Kennedy are voting.
Okay. We have a motion on the floor, seconded. No further discussion, all in favor? Opposed? Passed.
Thank you.
Chris, we don't have any minutes to review, do we?
No, we do not.
Okay. In which case, do I hear a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Everybody.
You would again.
For the record, note the phenomenal job the vice chairman has done